in this ship war for a little bit, I think. I haven't been in the trenches as long as some people, but I've been making ACOTAR content for a hot minute at this point. I have been involved in the ship war. Some of the arguments that I have seen are insane. There was a point where I was hearing Gwynriel's talk about, like, oh my god, you need to pay attention to the bonus, you need to go and read it, it's very important. But also, don't bother with A Court of Frost and Starlight. It's not important. A Court of Frost and Starlight, where you get such illustrious Elriel moments as, sit, I'll take care of it. Wait for her to sit down. The headache powder. Asriel laughing and Feyre realizing that she'd never heard him laugh before. Yes, truly, none of that is important to not even Elaine's character development. Yes, Elaine's character development and Elriel as a ship, but also, like, Asriel is the other half of your ship, and you're discounting all of this, honestly, elite character building. If anything, A Court of Frost and Starlight is an Asriel, like, really, really working hard to make sure that Elaine was included and, like, nobody started eating without her or whatever. That's how he's going to treat Gwyn if Gwyn is, in fact, his endgame, which I don't think that she is. So that stuff is important. You should want people to read that, but it kind of seems like you don't, because the Elriel moments in there are actually quite good. We also have to consider that we, fighting the ship war online, are probably some of the most terminally online fans of this fandom. Not everybody who reads this series is going to be as terminally online as us, or the people who are forced and or obligated to hear us rant about this ship war over and over again. Like, my offline book club, they go out of their way not to engage with ACOTAR TikTok, but they also know me and I show up on their shit. So they're still exposed to terminally online opinions. I am admitting that I am terminally online here. An embarrassing story here. I was at work and I was helping a guy fill out a form, and I told him to click the box. It was a piece of paper. I told him to click a checkbox on a piece of paper. He thought it was funny. I was mortified, but at the same time, I was like, oh shit, like, terminally online. Like, I need to go outside and touch some grass. But yeah, this is absolutely not, like, a slight upon Gwyn. I actually really like Gwyneth as a character. But I have seen some absolutely unhinged arguments from the Gwynriel side of the fight, and I'm sure other Gwynriels could come and school me about some of the nonsense that Elriels are doing. But at the end of the day, for me, it feels like this ship is hyper-focusing on certain specific moments that, in the grand scheme of things, like this is a series of books that's thousands of pages long, and we're focusing on just these very hyper-specific things. And it's kind of like we kind of need to take the whole body of work as a whole. And the whole body of work as a whole, I wouldn't even necessarily say that, like, it's a Gwynriel endgame versus a not Gwynriel endgame. I just don't think that this is a story about anything other than three sisters. Like, yes, I want the Elriel endgame like every other Elriel shipper. Like, yes, that is true. But at the end of the day, this is a story about three sisters. And even if Elaine gets with Lucian, that's still a story about three sisters. I don't think we're getting a Gwynriel book. At best, Gwynriel is going to be a side plot in an Lucian book. I think being like, oh no, the next story has to be Gwyneth and Asriel doesn't make sense to me when ACOTAR is a story that uses the motif of three. Even if Elaine doesn't get with Asriel, which would be a much cleaner version of the motif of three, and she gets with Lucian, it's still a story about three sisters. The next book has to be about Elaine, or at the very least, it's about Nesta and Feyre and Elaine as a whole, and we're going to see more of them. I just don't think that it's going to be about Gwyneth. And again, I don't have a problem with Gwyneth. I like her a lot. But she's not an Archeron sister. This is a story about Archeron sisters. And I think being like, oh no, it has to be a Gwynriel book, that just doesn't make any sense to me. I think it's either an Elriel book or an Aleutian book or an ensemble book. I don't think that we're going to take such a detour away from the Archeron sister story to tell a story about Rhysand's coworker and Nesta's bestie. I just don't think that it's going to happen.